Imagine millions of homes losing power due to electricity grids that are out of date or power plants running at maximum capacities. A few years ago in Texas, over 4 million homes lost power because of these two issues. Because electricity has become so heavily dependent on in our everyday lives, it becomes very hard for us to go without energy for even a few hours. Over a decade ago, smart grids started to replace the conventional grid that has been used since the 1930s. Smart grids allow for power to be controlled and provided to where it is most needed. It allows for quicker response times to resolve any outages that happen throughout the country. With conventional plants, a common way to fix the high energy demand would be to create more power plants. This over the years has become more expensive and impacts climate change more and more. Because power plants mostly outside of Quebec are made to run off of natural gases, this increases the amount of carbon emissions being released into the atmosphere. Conventional grids had a unidirectional communication. The information would go from the meters straight to the companies, and the electricity would go from the generators to the consumers. Because the systems are fairly limited and not very flexible, it would become hard for them to adapt to intermittent failures throughout the grid. This could leave large populations without power for hours to days. Smart grids, on the other hand, allowed for two-way flow of information. This allows the company to understand the needs of the consumer and the consumer to relay those needs back to the company. Smart grids also allow renewable energy sources to be integrated into the grid. For example, if a consumer had a solar panel installed on their roof, they would be able to use the energy being generated from said solar panel until the sun had gone away, and then would convert back to using the grid. Because of the constant exchange of information between consumers and producers, it allows for producers to more accurately predict power outages within certain communities and reroute energy in order to provide those communities with power once again. Traditional meters were used in order to measure how much gas and electricity were used within a household. Across North America and European countries, smart meters are being placed in homes and businesses in order to measure exact readings of electricity and gas uses. Smart meters then take the energy consumption readings from homes and relay them to the companies wirelessly. Smart meters contain sensors that are operated by computers that monitor energy consumption to maximize efficiency. However, there are many challenges that need to be overcome in order to reach a fully functional and security-aware smart grid. Providing measurement, control, communication, power, display, and synchronization capabilities is no easy task for the smart meters. Because consumers have access to their consumption information, users should also be able to adapt their power consumption. This would allow for a financial incentive for the client to improve or sustain their energy saving. Consumers should also have the right to access and control their meters remotely. This allows for service providers to reduce the operational costs or human error from the process. This would also allow for the system to become more secure. Some concerns for the future also include EV cars. It seems that EV cars will not have as big as an impact as skeptics predicted. Some skeptics push the narrative of that because the EV cars have to be charged so frequently that EV charging will take up a lot of the grid's energy. However, this is false. EV cars may take up maybe 1% of the electrical grid in the near future. As long as consumers only charge their cars during non-peak hours, it'll allow for them to save money as well as charge their car without issue. It is possible that this narration is being pushed because certain companies would make more money off gas cars compared to EV cars. However, it is indicative that we continue to grow smart meters and smart grids as well as solar panels on houses. Hopefully this will allow us to move toward our goal of net zero by not having carbon emissions being emitted from energy plants as well as not having a world of rolling blackouts.